Hey friends, it's me Heather, Mama in Motion. Welcome to my channel. I wanted to go ahead and do a video real quick to talk about why I gained back the 35 pounds that I lost last year. In case you didn't know, I had actually lost 35 pounds over the course of about 3.5 months last year, and I maintained it for most of the year last year until December, whenever I gained half of it back in 8 days. And I didn't do anything with my eating or dietary changes to warrant such a weight gain. Whenever I gained back the 17 pounds in 8 days, I felt like such a failure, and I didn't understand what was going on with my body, and I just gave up. I was like, why am I trying to maintain this weight loss, and why am I staying on this restrictive diet and doing all these things if I can't keep the weight down? And I didn't really understand. I still don't understand what happened to make me gain the weight. The doctors aren't really sure what happened, but in December of last year I did have hydronephrosis, and that means that there's a swelling in the kidney, and so that causes a backup of fluid, which may be part of the problem of why I gained weight so rapidly. But again, the doctors were never able to find out why I gained 17 pounds in 8 days, which was literally half the weight that I had lost, and I gained back in just over a week. So I was like flabbergasted, and I just didn't want to keep trying whenever my weight was just accelerating and I couldn't do anything to stop it. So I was like, screw it, and I gave up on all the progress that I had made, and I just started eating the way that I felt like eating, and eating a bunch of junk food and eating in excess because I had given up and I wasn't trying anymore. And I was just tired of my body, and I was tired of being in pain all the time, and I was tired of having issue after issue after issue after issue, and surgery after surgery after surgery. It's like, I had a surgery in 2017. I had a hip arthroscopy done because I had a labral tear in my hip, which you'll see in the little photo right here. This is my joint, and right up there is the tear in the joint. So I had hip arthroscopy done in 2017, and in 2019 I had an umbilical hernia repair because I had a small umbilical hernia, which is a hernia behind the belly button. So I had that repaired at the end of 2019. I think it was September 2019. I'm not really sure, but it came back within like 2 months because I didn't have it repaired with mesh. So then in 2020, I had another hernia surgery done with mesh, which was successful. I had that done in March 2020, and I was doing really well for a while. I decided to go on my weight loss journey last year, after discovering that I have diastasis recti, which is the separation in the abdominal muscles here, which is probably what's contributing to my hernia, just because the muscles are separated here so far apart. But whenever I learned that I had that and I couldn't get it repaired, I was like, well, if I start losing weight and I start doing exercises, maybe I can kind of close it up some, which I was really successful at for a while, until I gained that 17 pounds. So last year I had the hysterectomy on October 5th, 2021. And I was doing well in November of 2021, and I started this channel, and I started a bike challenge that I thought that I could do, but I found out that it was too hard on my body. I just couldn't do 7 days of biking in a row, so I definitely couldn't do 30. Excuse me. I actually injured my knee last year at the beginning of my weight loss journey. And then I re-injured my knee after the biking challenge. My knee swelled up really bad, which you'll see right here in this photo. You can see that one knee is a lot larger than the other. So that's what made me initially stop doing the bike challenge. And then I contracted COVID-19. So that took a lot of energy out of me and just really deflated all of my efforts to exercise. So I took a break on the bike challenge, and I just never picked it back up. I couldn't do it. So my apologies to everybody who was watching the bike challenge. I don't think that it was a feasible goal for me just coming out of my hysterectomy surgery and trying to do a 30-day challenge 6 weeks out from recovery, honestly. So I think that that was my bad. But so in mid-December, I started having really bad pelvic pains of 2021. This is 2 months out from my hysterectomy surgery. I ended up having granulation tissue on the cuff, which is the stitching line where they close up your cervix when they take it. It's called a cuff. Some doctors call it that. So I had scar tissue that bled, and it was on the cuff up inside, and it had to be treated with silver nitrate twice. I had to have 2 treatments done over a few months before it resolved. And around that time, because of the pelvic pain, because it was so intense, I told my doctor about it, and they had me do a CT scan, and that is when I was diagnosed with a hydronephrosis in my right kidney, and I learned that the fluid was backing up. And in March, on March 8th of this year, 2022, I had an exploratory surgery done where they went up inside my bladder and they went into the ureter that connects to the kidney, and they just explored to see what the issue was, where the kink was, what was causing the blockage, because it wasn't kidney stones. It was basically scar tissue that had built up from the surgery and was constricting the ureter. So that is what was causing me so much pain. But as this year progressed, I was even in more pain. I had a stent put in on March 8th when they did that exploratory surgery to see what was going on in my ureter and kidney, and the stent in my ureter was extremely painful. I actually went to the ER several times to be treated for pain, and they checked it to make sure it was still in the right position and stuff. And it always was, which was really frustrating because I was just in a bunch of pain, and they treated me like I was there for drugs only, and I was just there to try to get out of pain because I was crying and it hurt so bad. So the ureter that connects from the bladder to the kidney was inflamed and swollen, and so I had to take bladder spasm medicines and another medicine that was for prostates, but it is like an organ spasming medicine, and it helps the soft organ tissues to not spasm and tighten up, from what I understand. So I took that for a while too. Neither were very helpful, and my pain progressed to the point that I could barely walk for more than 15 minutes. I couldn't even stand for more than 15 minutes by I think it was April of this year. The pain had gotten so bad, so I saw my doctor. He sent me back to my surgeon that performed the hysterectomy, and him and the doctor that did the ureter stent actually went in June and did a surgery together, and they took out my appendix because I was having a lot of pain in my appendix area. It turned out I had a fecalith, which is like a piece of poo that is stuck in the appendix somehow. I don't really understand it, but apparently that can cause a lot of pain, so that may have been like the main source of my pain, but I really don't know because all of that is removed. My appendix actually had like a little tail on it at the bottom, and it was like tethered, so they just removed all of that. And then I had a bunch of adhesions inside of my pelvis all the way up to my belly button from the hernia surgery, and the adhesions were causing my organs inside my abdomen to be sticking together and not to have that like lubrication and smoothness between them. So it was like this as I was moving instead of smoothly moving against each other because the scar tissue had bound it all together. So he went through and he removed scar tissue from my sigmoid colon, from my deep pelvis, from behind my belly button, from all around my ovaries, everywhere around there. I originally had a 4-centimeter cyst on my ovary, but that went down before the surgery, so he didn't need to do anything about that, and I was able to keep my ovaries. And then, so I had the lysis of adhesion, the appendectomy, and the ureterolysis, which is when they went through and my ureter was constricted. It was like tied down and over this hump, and they freed it from being tied down and over the hump so that it could be smooth instead of kinked. And so since that surgery and since having the new stent that was put in during the surgery pulled out of my body and removed, I've actually been feeling a whole lot better. I started my renewed weight loss journey on June 1st of this year. I lost 1 pound the first week. I wasn't able to exercise at all until the end of June. So I had my surgery on June 14th. I gained 8 pounds after the surgery and got up to 254 pounds. But I lost all that weight and went back down to what I was at on June 1st, which was 246.4. And right now, on July 15th, I am at 242 pounds. So I'm very proud of that, and I'm really happy because I just lost 3.5 pounds in the last week. And I was able to start walking and doing YouTube exercises with Leslie Sansone, Walk at Home. And she's a beginner mile walk, and I absolutely love it. It's so easy to do. It gets such a good workout. The heart starts racing. I get crazy burn in my thighs and my calves, but especially my thighs. And it's not very hard on the body, which is really great. And I'm really happy with my results so far. I'm really proud of myself for wanting to start the journey again when I couldn't even exercise. I could barely move without pain. I would just sit in my recliner crying, and so I really leaned on food, and I was really dependent on food this past year to get me through all these hard times because I just wanted to give up. I didn't want to keep trying. I didn't want to keep being in pain. I was tired of having surgeries. I was tired of being told that something was wrong with me, and it just gets really discouraging after a while whenever you're constantly battling physical ailments. If you have any physical ailments and you understand chronic pain, drop a comment below and let me know what you're suffering with, because it's really discouraging, isn't it, to just live with it. Thankfully, my primary care doctor gave me some good pain pills before the surgery to get me through so that I could not cry every day. But even then, I still rationed out my pain pills because I know that they hardly give you any after surgery. And so I wanted to be sure I had some of my previous pain pills left over to get me through the surgery. And so I went a few days before the surgery without taking pain pills, and I couldn't take ibuprofen, so I was just taking Tylenol and gabapentin. And it was pretty rough, but I got through it. And now I'm doing a whole heck of a lot better. So I'm really grateful for that. I don't know. I felt like such a failure for giving up, but I've learned so much since I had given up. And I want people to see that they can do what I have to do. Not what I have to do, but for people to see that they can do it because I'm doing it. And even though you may have a lot of physical issues, you can still focus on your dietary needs and just, portioning out your food, for instance, which will make a huge difference in your calorie intake, like I've done. And if you can walk, you can start with 5 minutes and just build up from there, like I did after my surgery. I started 5 minutes around the house. I went up to 10 minutes outside, and then 12 and a half minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Last night I did my first 30-minute walk, which I was really proud of. So that was 1 month post-op. I did my first 30-minute walk. And I don't know, I'm just doing really well. I'm doing a lot better now. And I'm just so proud of myself, and I'm so happy with how far I've come. I know I was kind of all over the place, and I'm sorry about that. But I do want to say thank you. And, just for being here on the channel, please feel free to subscribe. I will be putting out more content as I lose more weight. I'm going to start doing weekly weigh-ins. I'm not really sure where I want to go with this channel, but I do know that I have goals in mind for my physical health and my weight loss journey, and I just want to be able to document it somewhere and keep track of it. And if you feel inspired by my journey, then that is even better, because I really want to be here to encourage you to do it too, because I believe that if I can do it, that you can do it, because it's been so hard and so challenging for me. But I'm really determined, and I know a lot of it is mindset. Excuse me. I know a lot of it is mindset, and mindset is super important, and I'm definitely working on that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an excellent day. Bye.